Now, I ain't no body language expert, right? But I am an expert in knowing when somebody hunching. I've hunched a few people in my day.
We don't care.
God damn it, woman. I've hunched people in my day, right? I know for a fact they're hunching. You could smell it through the phone. You could smell the Marlboro Reds and the salt and pepper and paprika through the damn phone. The way she is caressing that man's hair. Come on, man. You know, Erica, there was other ways to get a divorce. And I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Shit's getting weird. Part infinity.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD.
I don't see anything wrong with that, y'all. I see a lot of people like talking about her little speech and what she said about JD Vance, so on and so forth. And like, honestly, I think people are reaching a little bit. So I don't see anything wrong with it. Now, with that being said, this is crazy. No, that's egregious. If any woman ever came up to me and hugged me like that and put their fangly fingers through my naps, it would be a conversation at the house. You don't hug your friends like that. I don't care. That shit was crazy. And then he put his hands up on her hips. I was surprised they didn't dip and dip and dip. You know what I'm saying? I'm back home now. The hand on the head is quite intimate. I don't know about that one. It was definitely weird. Didn't she hold Trump a little too long too? Listen, maybe she's just a super affectionate person. But we watched this and my wife looked at me and I was like, I ain't gonna let it happen. I'm gonna be like, you better get the fuck up off me, bitch. Me and my wife were talking about this. These people are smart. They're not dumb. They know there's cameras everywhere. They know what they're doing. Now, why they did it, I don't really know. Why JD Vance got up there and kind of low-key threw some digs and then kind of embarrassed his wife a little bit, I don't know. That's weird to me.
Baby, the way Erica Kirk hugged JD Vance on the stage the other night at that Turning Point event was given very cringy and very disrespectful. That is not the way you hug a married man. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all, in her speech, as she's introducing him, she says, and I quote, "No one will ever replace my husband, but JD Vance has a lot of similarities." And then when this man comes on stage, she literally gives him this very intimate and passionate hug, as though her hands are all in the back of his head. Baby, the only thing that was missing was the kiss to seal the deal. Do you hear me? And then when JD Vance gets on the stage and starts his speech, honey, I don't know if the man was soft launching his divorce or what. He sits up there and say how he hoped that his wife changed her religion to Christianity because of what? Because of what? So now you're saying you want a Christian woman like Erica? I don't know, y'all. I know this lady is a grieving widow and her husband just passed away and all this other stuff. But every time that lady opens her mouth, she gets cringy. She gets more darker. Her aura is off. She's off. She's just weird as hell. I don't know, y'all. What are your thoughts? What are your your opinions? But that was crazy.
Well. Ladies, let Erica Kirk be a reminder that it's not always the man who is the problem in your relationship. A lot of times it's the women who are causing the problems. The fact that Erica Kirk thought it was okay to slide her hands through a married man's hair is the audacity for me. It would have taken the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit to drag me off of her. Ladies, that's why it is important that other women think that you are crazy, because then they will know not to try you or your husband.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is, Jenny. And that's love. That is not a normal hug and hello. You look at her, what she's doing. See that hand behind the head? That's a hell of an embrace that she's giving him there. Mrs. Erica Kirk, Mr. J.D. Vance, they're not just up there introducing. They doing something. And when two people are doing something, it ain't hard to tell. You look at those pictures and you tell me your best judgment. What do you think is happening behind closed doors? That is more than a welcome to the stage and a warm hello. See that hand? That's what they doing.
This does not look normal whatsoever. Everything about this feels off. Like, lady, wasn't your husband taken out for the world to see? And you're wearing tight leather pants? I guess she ditched the whole trad wife routine faster than they found Tyler Robinson. No friends run their hands through a man's hair. This is not a hug of grieving and comfort. Literally, no grieving widow acts like this, skipping straight to acceptance and selling merch. Why is he holding her waist? Then she says she sees similarities of her husband in JD.
But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight.
Seconds later, JD Vance says he wants his wife to become a Christian. What Christian values are on show here? JD Vance is on the Christian grift and it's so blatantly obvious. Do not let these people manipulate you. None of this feels real. Every move feels staged. It just makes me believe more and more that Erica Kirk was in on it. Because once people start seeing it, the whole act falls apart.
All right, now, a hug that is worth 1,000 of words, and that's basically what happened after Erica Kirk and Vice President J.D. Vance hug went viral, and of course Kirk and Vance embraced at a turning point. Yeah, USA events on Wednesday when Charlie Kirk's widow introduced Vance on stage, and of course, but many felt the Empress was too intimate. And of course, Erica Kirk opened up the TP USA and on Wednesday and delivered an emotional speech as she remembered her late husband. But of course, Charlie Kirk, it has been 7 weeks since Charlie, was assassinated. And while speaking to an audience at Valley University in Orem, Utah, no one will ever replace, quote unquote, my husband. But Erica Kirk, but this, I do see some, similarities of my husband in JD and in Vance, in Vice President JD Vance, and she did, and that's why, and I'm quoting, I am so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight. And of course, now Vance took the stage and embraced Erica, but however, their brief interactions raised eyebrows as many felt their hug was too intimate for a widow and a married vice president. But of course, Erica Kirk and J.D. Vance, Empress may have meant nothing, but the latter extending, an emotional support to the former who had just lost her husband. However, that's not how it appeared to many social media users. Several took to X, formerly Twitter, and quickly blasted the two. And they felt that the Empress was too much and, borderline inappropriate. So me and you, we're gonna watch those other sentiments which are made by especially the Black Americans. They are flooding medium, especially from TikTok, and of course these videos courtesy to the creators. And me and you, we're going to of course circle back at the end of this particular show, as we usually do it, with more thoughts and comments over the same. So hang around.
I've gotten several requests to decode this video with Erica Kirk and JD Vance. Let's look at JD Vance's side of the hug first. He gives a tight hug with a pat on the back. So some people often pat people on the back. That's just kind of how they manage a longer hug. And for some people, that patting on the back is what they do to comfort someone else. He also rests his hands after the hug for a second on her waist area, which can be a sign of affection and or romantic interest. It's the move to slide her hands up and grasp and cradle his head that is getting so much attention. This is a move that we women do when we are in a deep kiss, which is why it looks so very intimate. Erica then ends her hug by grasping his shoulders, which is a sign of affection and closeness. That said, grief can do really wonky things to humans, but this is wonky for sure. I'm Yanni Sarnblad, and I teach microexpressions and all things nonverbal.
No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD. Help me welcome to the stage Vice President JD Vance.
You women on here aren't playing around about Erica Kirk. Recently on that video, all of you have said, no way, no how. Some of you even said her hair extensions would have been laying on the stage after what she did with JD Vance if that was your husband. I had asked the question in a video previously that asked, was it too intimate? How would you feel about if that was your spouse and she was on there rubbing her hands on the back of his head like that and wearing them leather pants? You know, she was feeling like something out of the Grease Lightning. She may have thought that JD Vance was more like John Travolta there for a minute. Anyways, you guys are not happy about that. And some of the men get on there and say, oh, it was okay, it was fine. Ladies, if your husband was in that video on my comments saying that it was normal, you might want to check your husband, because Erica Kirk and JD Vance on that stage was highly inappropriate. He was a vice president of the United States, and you know what? She is fake as it comes, isn't she? And you can just see it. I forgive you. And then even how she talks to the crowd in front of the people. Pageantry at its finest. Anyways, ladies, yeah, you weren't playing. Bye.
At first, I was giving her all the grace in the world, right? Your husband get hit like that in front of the whole world, I'm giving you grace. But now the stargazing and the overly dramatic emotions is coming off really, really weird, all right? On top of that, at the event the other day, the way her and JD Vance were hugging just seemed a little touchy. I'm not claiming that there's anything going on there. I'm just talking about the visual and the way it looked. It did not look right, okay? I'm not the only person that's saying this or thinking it. But the over dramatic, I understand she's a trained actor, I believe, right? And a model, but that can't be your whole personality. And it seems like that's her entire personality. Everything she does just seems like she's playing a role, right? It's just giving everybody the icks. On top of how close her and JD Vance has came. Now there's rumors swirling and roaring about JD Vance possibly leaving his wife for Erica Kirk. Listen, if JD is dumb enough to do something like that, his political career is over, because you show zero loyalty to anything. You married to the brown woman, Sasha. You picked your poison. You made your bed. You got to sleep in that bed, all right? I understand that the right is getting real racialist right now, but I don't think that's the play, all right? I don't think JD Vance is leaving his wife for Erica. But the dramatics around this entire thing is just starting to stink. Really, it's starting to fucking stink, all right? To be honest, I'm off of Erica. I'm off of TPUSA. I'm off of it. Too many lies, too much hiding, too many secrets. Nothing about that entire situation, that group over there, is giving me any confidence in the future of America.
It's so great seeing JD Vance and Erica Kirk embrace in a very normal, friends giving friends, hands through the hair type of hug that we all give our friends of the opposite sex, right? Isn't that? Oh, you don't run your hands through somebody else's hair or get that and be cheek to fucking cheek like that. And this looks like it's, a middle school dance, like 1, a mega dream come true, 2, like you got the hands right there on the hips, you got that distance, they'd say, leave room for the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. This speculation is now going. Rumors are running rampant. I don't know, but does she look like more of the MAGA poster child than Mrs. Vance does right now? What would be the natural thing to upgrade? The blue-eyed, blonde-haired, uber-Christian woman. Yeah. So are we going to see something? I don't know. Is this nothing? I don't know. You be the judge. But it sure looks like an odd way to greet your friend.
The media's been calling, and you have been asking what is going on with Erica Kirk and JD Vance. Is there anything more than friends? Well, I think we got some body language. It's quite revealing at the talk they did, I believe it was yesterday. I'm body language expert and behavior analyst Tracy Brown. Stay tuned for the juicy details. Watch this first. All right, first thing, as soon as they make eye contact, she does that head tilt. And that is deep emotional recognition. The formality is gone. Now, her arms are in a fig leaf, right? So that is protecting herself just a little bit. It could be from the audience, from the cameras, from the motion of the situation. But it's unusual to walk very far in a fig leaf position, but that is what she's doing. Now, his arms are wide open to welcome her, but here's where it gets interesting, is that she gets into that hug and puts her hand on the back of his neck. So that is more than just casual acquaintances. And actually, she can control his attention and where he looks. So this is a deep connection move right here. Now, here's where it gets juicy. Is the real tell to see how any couple is doing together is how close their pelvis is together. Now here, they're almost as close as you can get without touching. If they were touching, I'd be like, for sure, there's a little, secret lover, like, going on. They're a little bit apart, but not very much. So this has my eyebrows raised in suspicion. Now, the other thing that good couples do is they look at each other in close range with direct eye contact. Now, as they walk together on the stage, she is locked eyes with him, but I don't know that he's locked eyes with her. I think he's kind of looking around and a little bit more of a fuzzy type focus. Now, after the hug, again, she looks at him directly in the eyes, and he only glances up a couple quick times. So what this is saying to me is that she is a lot more intimate in this relationship than he is. And that sort of makes sense because guess what? He's married. And I would like to see a little bit more evidence to give him a yay or a nay on if they're actually a secret couple or not. I want to know what you think. You can base it on my analysis, on your own analysis, or just that gut feel. Put it in the comments. But here's my unofficial inside thought. I'm leaning towards yes on those two. When you want to know more juicy stuff like this, go up here to my profile, the first link under the red arrow. That's my newsletter sign up. I'll send you tips like this and a lot more in the inbox once a month. TB out.
I told y'all this woman is not grieving. She's glowing. She's literally happier than a cat at a fish fry. Look at her. And not only did she have adoring eyes for JD Vance, same adoring eyes for Donald Trump. Sis is laughing all the way to the bank. Somebody say, oh, we love Charlie. She like, Charlie who? And understand, those of you who love Charlie Kirk, you're grieving more for Charlie Kirk than she is. This woman has moved on faster than the Wi-Fi at a hotel lobby. Look at her. She's smiling like she found out her student loans were forgiven. Oh, but it don't end there. Now, when I saw this picture, I was like, now, wait a minute. We're going way too far here. Somebody need to call HR because I know for damn sure this hug comes with benefits. Look at her. She's grieving like the insurance check already cleared. She got the money's in the bank. She looks freer than a kid on their last day of school. Y'all gotta understand, none of this is happenstance. So when y'all see all that performative grief, she's laughing all the way to the bank. Don't get it twisted. Sister girl is leaning into this victimhood shit and making money. Faux show.
At first, I was giving her all the grace in the world, right? Your husband get hit like that in front of the whole world. I'm giving you grace. But now the stargazing and the overly dramatic emotions is coming off really, really weird, all right? On top of that, at the event the other day, the way her and JD Vance were hugging just seemed a little touchy. I'm not claiming that there's anything going on there. I'm just talking about the visual and the way it looked. It did not look right, okay? I'm not the only person that's saying this or thinking it. But the over dramatic, I understand she's a trained actor, I believe, right? And a model, but it that can't be your whole personality. And it seems like that's her entire personality. Everything she does just seems like she's playing a role, right? It's just giving everybody the icks. On top of how close her and JD Vance has came. Now there's rumors swirling and roaring about JD Vance possibly leaving his wife for Erica Kirk. Listen, if JD is dumb enough to do something like that, his political career is over, because you show zero loyalty to anything. You married to the brown woman, Sasha. You picked your poison. You made your bed. You got to sleep in that bed, all right? I understand that the right is getting real racialist right now, but I don't think that's the play, all right? I don't think JD Vance is leaving his wife for Erica. But the dramatics around this entire thing is just starting to stink. Really, it's starting to fucking stink, all right? To be honest, I'm off of Erica. I'm off of TPUSA. I'm off of it. Too many lies, too much hiding, too many secrets. Nothing about that entire situation, that group over there, is giving me any confidence in the future of America.
So, when you piece it all together, the emotional timing, the scripted, body language, and of course the public praise, that hug feels less like comfort and more like strategy. But then it's the kind of move politicians make when, they are preparing the crowd for a new story, but slowly shifting sympathy and spotlight before the real headline drops. Maybe it's just a moment of warmth, and or maybe it's just the soft launch of something bigger. Divorce, lauding, and a personal rebrand dressed as compassion. Either way, the message is loud. JD Vance knows exactly what he's doing, and in politics, every hug tells a story. I go by Sherlock. If it's your first time you bumped across this one, your family, I salute you. And if it's your first time, how about a thumbs up, a like, and a subscription? That will mean that you're in this particular part and parcel of a bigger family. See you in the next one.